effective. Like human beings just never seeing each other ever again. But in any case, as far as the general tenor, as I've said, if you want to date at these times and you are dating for something more than that, then you really ought to be dating in a religious context or at the very least in a committed context. And you can do that by simply saying straight up front with the girl that you are interested in a committed relationship and then tailoring your conversations toward that commitment. Everybody thinks that finding TV shows in common or things you like to do together, like that's the most important stuff. Here's the truth. 90% of people like TV. 90% of people like Disneyland. 90% of people like long walks on the beach, right? That most people have like things that are fun in common. But guess what? Marriage actually and dating, these are not actually times when you spend 90% of your time doing fun stuff. One of the things that I always found weird about shows like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette is they'd be like, oh, the best way to know somebody is to go on a hot air balloon ride with them. And I think like, I have never been ever on a hot air balloon ride with my wife, like ever. Nor are these people, if they ever got married, going to spend more than one day out of presumably the next 60 years in a hot air balloon. Like, why in the world are you tailoring all of these dates to like things that will never happen again, nor would they ever happen in real life? You know what real life is like if you want to date seriously? Real life is you go and you see the person every single day and you sit next to them when they are working and you talk with them and you get lunch with them and you hang out with them and you go do favors for them and you get to know them really well. So I dated my wife for about 3.5 months before we got engaged. We started dating September 5th of 2007 and 2007. And we got engaged on December 22nd of 2007. So whatever that period is, that was our total dating time before we got engaged. And honestly, it was a pretty packed time because I made a commitment after the first couple of weeks when we dated, once every 3-4 days. I made a commitment that I was going to go and see her every single day. And so after work, I would go and I would see her every single day. And if she had to work in the library at UCLA, I would literally bring her a meal and I would sit there and I would do my work on one side of the table and she would do her work on the other side of the table. And I wouldn't bother her because she had work to do. And then we would take a break for 15 minutes and hang out and go back to doing work. Or if she really, needed to focus, I would drop the meal and I would leave. Because you know what? That's kind of like what marriage is. That kind of is what marriage is. I haven't seen my wife at this point for a month. Like, I'm not kidding. For the last month, I've not seen my wife. Since our baby was born, I have not seen her at all. Why? Well, because number one, she is keeping odd hours because she has to nurse the baby. Number two, I have 2 other kids. One got the flu. Then a week later, another got the flu, which means I have to keep them both separate from my wife and the baby so the baby doesn't get the flu. So I've seen my wife in the last month for a combined total of approximately 7.2 minutes. But the reason that the relationship can survive that is because I have the security of knowing that life was like that before, and I've spent all sorts of time with her. You know what's the thing we're not doing right now? Going on a hot air balloon. So if you are worried about, dating for commitment, then think about dating for commitment in realistic ways as opposed to what's the most romantic thing I can think of for every single date? What if I spread a rose petal lane down the middle of Main Street in Disneyland every single, that's not real life. So make dating more like real life, and then you're more likely to get a partner that you want for real life.